I was her bet. She tried to turn me into the perfect boyfriend. But I outplayed her at her own game. If you asked anyone who knew me in college to describe me, I can pretty much guarantee they would have said the same thing. Quiet guy, wears graphic tees and hoodies, sits in the back during lectures, always has headphones on, likes video games and weird old sci-fi comics. Basically invisible unless you needed help fixing your laptop. I never really stood out, and honestly I was fine with that. I had my little world. My Steam backlog, my Discord friends, Friday night pizza with my roommates, and the occasional late-night coding sprint when I was feeling ambitious. Girls? Not really part of the equation. I had crushes like any guy does, but most of them didn't even know my name. I used to joke that I was in my NPC arc like I was just background in someone else's story. And then she showed up, her name was Madison. And she was everything I was not. Blonde, perfect makeup every time, 6,000 followers on Instagram, always posting stories with her friends at clubs, brunches, art shows. Her outfits were coordinated down to her nail polish. She looked like she stepped out of a fashion ad and somehow landed in our painfully average computer science lecture. And for some reason that I still do not fully understand, she noticed me. It started small. One day after class, she asked me what I thought of the lecture. I almost choked on my coffee. Then she sat next to me the next week. Then she started walking with me to the dining hall. I thought it was a prank at first. Like maybe I had spinach in my teeth or my fly was open and she was just being weirdly nice about it. But no! She started texting me, sending me TikToks, laughing at my dumb memes. She even followed me on Instagram, which blew my mind because my last post was a blurry photo of my cat sitting in a cardboard box. After about a month, she asked if I wanted to get food sometime. Not like dining hall food. Real food. She took me to this trendy ramen place downtown I had never even heard of. We sat on the patio, under string lights, and I was sweating the entire time. Not from the noodles. From her. She was so confident. So casual, like this was just her normal. Meanwhile, I was having a mental breakdown, trying to figure out if my breath still smelled like garlic, or if I had spilled broth on my jeans. But she did not seem to care. She actually laughed at my jokes. She asked questions about me. Like real ones. About my major and my favorite movies and what kind of music I liked. I swear it felt like a dream. A dream where I accidentally said something funny and woke up in an alternate timeline. We started dating after that. Or, well, whatever you call it when you start spending all your free time with someone and people start whispering when you walk into the room together. My roommates were in shock. One of them straight up said, "Dude, are you sure she is not doing this for content or something?" I ignored him. I did not want to ruin it. Madison started changing me. At first, it felt kind of sweet. She bought me this button-up shirt from some store I had never heard of and said it brought out my eyes. She sent me a link to her favorite skincare routine and told me I should try it because I had good bones, whatever that means. She booked us a gym session together and said it would be fun to get summer ready, even though it was March. I went along with it. I figured she was just helping me become a better version of myself. Like she saw something in me that I had never seen. I started dressing nicer. Got a haircut that did not involve buzzing the sides in my dorm bathroom. I even bought shoes that were not made of canvas for once. And to be honest, I felt good. For the first time in my life, I was not invisible. People started saying hi to me. Girls I barely knew liked my stories. Even professors seemed to pay more attention when I raised my hand. Madison posted us together a lot. Captioned things like, "Love a good glow up," and "Took my man to get his first facial." I did not even mind. It felt like I had finally been let in on some secret. Like this was what it meant to be seen. To matter. I started thinking maybe she was the one. I pictured us moving in together. Me working remote, her doing influencer stuff. Maybe a little cat sitting in her makeup drawer. It was dumb, I know. But when you have spent your whole life feeling like an extra, you latch onto anything that makes you feel like the lead. Until I found out the truth. It happened on a Thursday. I remember because I had just bombed a stats quiz and was in the kind of mood where you start Googling, "Can you get expelled for being dumb?" I was walking past the campus cafe when I heard my name. I stopped. Not because I am a nosy person, but because the voice was familiar. Madison's friend, Bree. The one with the giant sunglasses and the permanent judgmental tone. She was sitting at a table with two other girls I did not recognize. I was about to walk away until I heard her say, "I cannot believe Madison is still doing this experiment with Dylan." My brain froze. Experiment? Then one of the other girls laughed and said, I mean, honestly, it is kinda working. He went from goblin mode to soft boy in like 3 weeks. Then Bree said, yeah, but the bet was he had to be Instagram worthy by Halloween. If she loses, she is buying us all tickets to Miami. I stood there like an idiot. Just processing. Bet. Miami. Experiment. Instagram worthy. My ears were ringing. I walked away before they saw me, but it felt like my whole body was buzzing. I went back to my dorm and stared at the wall for 20 minutes. I was not even mad. Not yet. Just stunned. Like, someone had pulled the rug out from under the best dream I ever had. She had not picked me because she saw something special. She picked me because I was a blank canvas. A before photo. A punchline. I wanted to scream or cry or break something, but instead I just sat there. Quiet. And then I started to laugh. Just a little. Because of course. Of course it was a game. A makeover project. I mean, who was I kidding? Girls like Madison do not date guys like me. They study us. And post about us. And use us to win group chats. I thought about texting her. Confronting her. Asking her how she could do that to someone. But I did not. I did something else. I played dumb. The next day I showed up like nothing happened. Kissed her cheek. Said her new nails looked amazing. Complimented her oat milk latte even though it tasted like liquid drywall. She smiled like everything was fine. And I realized right then, she had no idea I knew. That gave me something better than closure. It gave me a choice. I could rage and burn everything down. Or I could do something else. Something quiet. Something smarter. So I decided. I would let the game continue. But on my terms now. If I was a character in her little project. Then it was time for a plot twist. The first thing I did was pull out my old hoodie. The one with the tiny hole in the sleeve and the faded logo from that indie game no one played except me and 3 people on Reddit. I wore it to class the next day. No hair gel. No cologne. Just me. Raw, unfiltered, socially awkward me. Madison saw me from across the hallway and did a double take. I smiled and waved like nothing was weird. She texted me later asking if I was okay. I said yeah, just trying something new. She replied with a confused K, which was funny because she used to say people who reply with just K had the emotional depth of a potato. Over the next week I turned the dial further. I skipped the gym sessions she scheduled for us, said I had a Dungeons & Dragons campaign that night, which was not even a lie. I actually texted my old high school buddies and asked if we could revive our campaign. I started eating at the nerdy burger joint near campus instead of those overpriced brunch spots she liked to post on her stories. I even posted a pic of my triple bacon melt with the caption, not aesthetic, but life-changing. 0 filters. Just grease and pride. She stopped liking my posts. Then she started sending messages like, babe, are you depressed? And this is not you. That one made me laugh. Because actually this was me. Finally. I started skipping her little influencer photo shoots. The ones where she dragged me to fields or murals and posed me like a Ken doll. I told her I had a paper to finish or I was not feeling camera ready. One time I just said I would rather reorganize my bookshelf. Which I did. Alphabetically. By universe, Marvel, before DC obviously. The cracks began to show. Madison started showing up with less energy. Her tone changed. She stopped calling me my man and started saying things like, I do not know what is going on with you. Her friends started giving me looks again. Not the curious ones from before. The annoyed kind. Like I was messing up their group project. And maybe I was. But that was kind of the point. One of them even cornered me near the vending machines and said, dude, you were doing so good. Why throw it away? I said maybe I am just not the makeover type. Maybe I am more before than after. That shut her up. I kept going. I started wearing my blue light glasses again, even though Madison said they made me look like a tech support guy from 1999. I brought my laptop to a date and asked if she wanted to see the new dungeon I coded in Unity. She said no. She looked tired. Like someone who realized their Pinterest project was falling apart. Then came the final nail. One night she invited me to this party her friend was throwing. Fancy rooftop thing. Dress code. Live DJ. One of those look rich even though we are all in student debt kind of nights. I wore sneakers. And my Legend of Zelda hoodie. On purpose. Madison pulled me aside before we even got out of the Uber. She looked me up and down and said, "Are you seriously wearing that?" I said, "Yeah. This is me. If that is a problem, maybe I am not who you thought I was." She blinked, like she had been slapped with a fish. Then she sighed and said, "Whatever, Dylan. Do what you want," and walked off to her friends. I hung around the bar for 15 minutes, then left. Ordered chicken wings and watched 3 episodes of that sci-fi show she always said was too nerdy. And you know what? I felt incredible. I was not angry. Not anymore. Just free. The weirdest part? I was not sad either. I thought I would be. I thought losing her would break me. But I had already lost her. The girl I thought she was never existed. What I had was a performance. A highlight reel. A shiny mirror she held up so she could say, "Look what I made." But I was not made. I was always here. Under the gel and the collared shirts and the protein smoothies. I just needed to remember. And I did. A week later, I met Madison at our usual coffee spot. She had texted asking if we could talk, and I figured, yeah, why not? Closure's a thing, right? She showed up looking flawless as usual. Hair curled, outfit coordinated, nails done in that glossy neutral pink she always wore. I came in wearing a hoodie with a pixelated dragon on it and jeans with a rip that definitely was not fashion approved. She gave me a once-over and sighed. Not annoyed, just tired. Like someone who finally gave up trying to solve a puzzle with missing pieces. We sat down. She started talking fast. Said she felt like I had changed, that I was pulling away. That I used to be so motivated, and now it seemed like I had given up. I let her talk. I stirred my coffee and waited. When she was done, I said one sentence. "I know about the bet." Her whole face changed. She froze like someone had pressed pause on her soul. Then she tried to backpedal. Said it was stupid. Said it started as a joke. That it did not mean anything. That she had really come to care about me. I nodded. I told her I believed some of that was true. I told her I do not think she is evil. I think she is just used to the world working a certain way for her. That she thought she could mold me into her version of a better man and call it love. But it was not love. It was control. And I had let it happen because I was so damn desperate to feel chosen. She got quiet. I told her I did not hate her. I just finally liked myself enough to stop pretending. And then I stood up, I said goodbye. And I left. That was it. No big dramatic moment. No yelling. No Instagram post. Just peace. Afterwards, something weird happened. I expected to feel empty. But I felt more solid than ever, like I'd come back to myself. I started doing little things that felt like me again. I spent Saturdays gaming with my friends. I bought a stack of comics I had missed. I wore my old tees without shame. I even started tutoring this girl in my computer science class, and get this. She laughed at my stupid Star Trek jokes and called me adorable without trying to change a single thing about me. For the first time in a long time, I looked in the mirror and liked the guy staring back. Not because he looked hot or cool or curated, but because he was real. A little awkward. A little too passionate about things most people do not care about. But honest. Whole. And enough. Madison unfollowed me 2 days later. I guess that was her version of closure. Or maybe defeat. Either way, I did not care. I had already won. Not the bet. Not the makeover. But myself. And that is a win I will never give up again.